Power speaks in terms, not testimony. The room is loud, charts slapped on the table, voices climbing over blame. You feel the pull to defend your character, to tell the long story of why you are right. You don't. You breathe once and deliver one line. We are choosing a market, not trading accusations. List the 3 viable segments and the first experiment. You stop. No biography, no apology. The noise falls into orbit around that sentence because definition outranks explanation. You just dragged the conversation from emotion to design, from drama to decision. Frame before facts. The first calm line draws borders, and once borders exist, half the chaos dies. In a kitchen argument, 2 histories crash at midnight. You say, "Tonight is about safety and sleep. We will review the past on Saturday at noon." Storm becomes schedule. On social media, a swarm demands that you clear your name. You refuse the theater and set a process. Here is what is verifiable. Here is the next step. Rooms respect the person who decides the work, not the one who empties their heart. Explanations discount value. Each extra sentence lowers your price and raises their appetite to probe. The more you talk, the more you create hooks to tug the exact times, the private reasons, the anxious qualifiers. You think you are building trust. You are writing a cross-examination script against yourself. In business, the vendor who keeps explaining becomes the vendor who can be squeezed. In dating, the man who begs to be understood becomes the man who can be managed. A prince who argues for his virtue becomes a petitioner. Treat context like currency. Spend only what purchases movement. If a decision needs one fact, give one fact. If it needs a plan, give one step and a clock. When you feel the compulsion to make them see your heart, recognize the trap. You are paying with dignity to buy approval that cannot be delivered. Authority is not a mood others grant you. It is a structure you enforce with pace and clarity. Silence is pressure. When you can hold a pause without flinching, people show their incentives. The impatient reveal deadlines. The manipulative reveal tactics. The sincere reveal willingness. In negotiation, you name a price and wait. Numbers come to fill the quiet. In conflict, you set a single boundary. We will discuss this tomorrow at 9, not now. And then you stop. The next sound belongs to them. Their choice exposes the truth. Your restraint signals surplus. Surplus options, surplus self-command, surplus time. Apply it cleanly. At work, the CEO demands a justification for last quarter. You refuse biography and set the frame. 3 drivers cut margin. We are correcting 2 this sprint and 1 next quarter. Here is the owner, the metric, the date. In relationships, a partner pushes for midnight explanations by text. You move the matter to daylight and a table. You listen once, define once, decide once. If terms are ignored, you do not explain the consequence, you execute it. Distance is a policy, not a speech. Understand optics. People judge by the eyes. They watch your pace, not your paragraphs. A steady tone reads as competence. A torrent reads as panic. When you answer only what advances the objective, you teach others how to treat you. They learn that melodrama is unprofitable, that clarity buys access, that disrespect buys silence. This is the painful truth. Authority dies when you explain. Leadership is not the talent to narrate innocence. It is the nerve to define reality and keep your hands on the wheel while others beg for a story. Say little, say it first. Say it like terms. Define once. Let silence do the rest. Men in general judge more by the eyes than by the hands, for everyone can see but few can feel. You are told to be transparent, to over-communicate, to prove you are good. These sound like virtues and operate like traps. A court appears, and you are cast as the defendant. The burden of proof moves to your side of the table. You talk more, they risk less. You reveal more, they negotiate better. If you speak like a supplicant, you are priced like one. The transparency trap begins with a polite request. Explain everything now. It flatters your conscience while emptying your vault. The details you surrender, deadlines, numbers, doubts, fears, become leverage. A vendor who discloses their true bottom line invites the squeeze. A candidate who narrates every insecurity earns a "we'll get back to you." A partner who live streams their inner weather teaches that access is owed, not earned. Excess speech is not honesty. It is a security breach. Practice surgical candor. Truth is not the same as total exposure. Offer frameworks, not your bloodstream. Here are the objectives. Here are the constraints. Here is the decision date. This gives the other party what they need to act, not ammunition to stall. When pressed for more, but what are you really worried about? Notice the tactic. Worry is a handle. Take the handle away. Risks are already priced into the plan. Results speak Friday. You do not lie. You sequence. You do not hide. You gate. Understand how disclosure collapses posture. The side that speaks last commits least. The side that reveals first is timed, mapped, and herded. People use your clock against you. Tell them you must deliver by Tuesday, and Tuesday becomes the anvil. Tell them you fear losing the deal, and the deal becomes a charity. Silence does not mean indifference. It means you control tempo. In negotiations, tempo is worth money. Availability theater is the second costume of weakness. Instant replies, long explanations, nervous humor, these read as need. Need lowers price. You think speed equals respect. They read it as clearance sale. Respect grows when your time looks spoken for by a mission and you still make room. The signal is not, I answer immediately, but I answer reliably inside defined windows. Install windows. Decide your reply blocks and keep them. Replace anxious paragraphs with clean sentences. Noted. Confirming 2 p.m. Wednesday. Scope change. Price changes. Keep warmth in your tone and steel in your cadence. In the office, the junior fills every silence. The senior names the next step and lets silence work. On dates, the eager monologue flatters itself and bores the room. The calm question plus a thoughtful pause creates pull. Scarcity is good manners for adults. It lets desire breathe. Study the economics of attention. Scarcity creates respect. Floods create contempt. If you are always available, your presence becomes wallpaper, seen, ignored, taken for granted. A calendar with edges turns your time into an object with weight. You cannot be valued as a boundary if you live as a blur. Trim your yes, price your exceptions. Your availability must serve your purpose, not dissolve it. Now to love's PR versus governance. PR says, be transparent, over-communicate, prove you're good. Governance says, define terms, then keep them. Affection without structure decays into entitlement. Structure without warmth chills into bureaucracy. The remedy is minimal. Clear terms that make warmth safe. Calibrated silence, predictable rituals, explicit thresholds. Right terms that breathe. We debrief on Sundays. If it's urgent, call twice. During work blocks, I'm dark. After 6, I'm present. These are not walls against love. They are doors that create thresholds. Thresholds produce meaning. When everything is available at once, nothing feels earned. When attention arrives inside a frame, it feels like a gift, not a drip. The right person will relax into your cadence because it is fair and legible. The wrong person will call it cold because their chaos lost oxygen. Replace emotional essays with enforceable signals instead of flooding a partner with reassurance paragraphs. show up on time, and keep your plans. Instead of narrating every feeling, speak the consequence. I'm not available for midnight fights. Let's talk tomorrow. Instead of begging to be read as good, be readable as steady. You are not a defendant arguing innocence to a shifting jury. You are a governor setting rules that protect the city. This reframe makes your life simpler. In hiring, you do not overshare salary ceilings and internal politics. You state the range and the timeline. Candidates who can operate within it advance. Those who demand your diary disqualify themselves. In sales, you do not narrate last quarter's panic. You define this quarter's offer and expiry. Buyers who respect terms stay. Those who chase desperation leave. In family disputes, you do not litigate motives at midnight. You set a window and an agenda. Expect pushback. People accustomed to ruling you with urgency and curiosity will call boundaries evasions. They will demand that you prove you are good by bleeding on command. Hold the line. Goodness does not need a stage. It needs a spine. You are not hiding. You are stewarding. You are not cold. You are calibrated. Over time, the room learns your rhythm and the noise fades. This is Machiavellian not because it is cruel, but because it is clear. The prince survives by governing appearances and incentives. You survive by governing access and terms. Speak less, decide faster, and deliver on schedule. Let your reputation carry the argument you refuse to have. People believe patterns over pleas. Make your pattern expensive and calm. You will be accused of playing games. Refuse the frame. Games hide the rules. You publish them. Games bait with speed. You move by design. Games live on applause. You live on outcomes. The ones who can meet you there will feel safer and stand taller. The rest will drift toward louder rooms. Let them. Less confession, clearer terms. You explain because silence once felt like exile. You explain because being misunderstood carried the threat of punishment, because the child believed safety could be purchased with clarity. Now, whenever tension rises, your mind sprints for the microphone. Define, justify, defend. Your words race ahead to buy approval. But approval bought with self-abandonment is a debt that never clears. The shadow keeps the ledger. Trace the bargain back. The old contract said, "If I am understood, I am safe." You learned to narrate your goodness before anyone asked, to read the adult weather and preempt the storm with explanations. That trick earned brief calm, and your nervous system equated belonging with constant broadcasting. Today, you carry the ritual into meetings and messages, over-detailing emails, over-contextualizing on calls, translating yourself for audiences that never asked. You are not broken, you are patterned. The compulsion to justify is not identity. It is an alarm. Alarms can protect a house, but they cannot govern a city. Notice your body when you're misread. Heat in the cheeks, shallow breath, a rush of clauses at the gate. You aren't defending truth. You're defending an old permission slip that said you may exist only if you are pleasant, legible, and easy. The Jungian shadow, what you refuse to acknowledge, prefers you busy and harmless. It wants performance instead of authority. Be gentle with the child, firm with the habit. The aim is not to become cold, it is to become coherent. Coherence means your speech is chosen, not dragged out of you by fear. It means allowing a sentence to stand without wrapping it in biography. Power does not require fireworks. It requires weight. Weight arrives when you let a line land and survive the silence that follows. Now observe how tests appear. People don't always intend them. Systems run them. A friend grows cool after you draw a line. A boss sends a vague midnight ping. A partner adds an edge to a simple question. These are probes conscious or not for handles. A handle is any need that lets others move you with little force. The need to be liked is a polished handle. The need to fix moods is a handle with bells on it. The need to be seen as nice is the universal handle. Anyone can grab it and steer. Once a handle is visible, leverage multiplies. The coworker who knows you'll over-explain will loop you into fuzzy projects because you will do the clarifying labor. The date who senses you dread being difficult will set the tempo by withdrawing warmth until you chase. The family member who sees your urge to fix will spread a crisis like a net, and you will climb in, calling it duty. No one must be a villain for this to work. The physics are enough. What is graspable gets gripped. You cannot charm a system out of using leverage you supplied. You must reduce the grip. Restraint is not rudeness. It is power hygiene. Power leaks through every unnecessary paragraph, every preemptive apology offered to buy permission to exist. Begin with the courage to be misread without launching a rescue mission. Let a line stand unpadded. Let your name survive a rumor. Retire the archetype of the pleasing child without a parade. From wound to policy, that is your path from psychology to statecraft. Write laws for your inner country, the way a city reforms after a flood. First, response windows. If a message stings, you do not answer live. Choose a window 45 minutes, 3 hours, next morning, and hold it. During that interval, you metabolize the feeling without moving your thumbs. The pause turns reflex into choice. It teaches that urgency is rarely truth. Second, no live debates while hot. Heat warps language. You can't frame a house with softened beams. When sarcasm appears or volume climbs, you suspend the session. I'm pausing this now. We can continue at 5 p.m. This is not avoidance. It is architecture. Those who benefited from your reactivity will accuse you all of stonewalling. Their protest is proof the old lever snapped. Third, one sentence to define, one sentence to decide. This is your sword and shield. Definition states reality in plain terms. We agreed on Friday delivery. It hasn't arrived. Decision names your move. I'm executing Plan B at noon. No autobiography. If they require more, they can ask. If they punish clarity, that is data for your next decision. Your sentences should feel like stones you can stand on, not nets you fall through. Support these laws with scaffolding. Time box big choices so they do not colonize your days. Draft the longer explanation privately, then cut to one clean line publicly. Keep scripts for recurring scenes, polite refusals, schedule changes, boundary resets. Practice stillness in microdoses, 2 minutes with your phone face down, while your stomach tightens and then cools. This is exposure training for the soul. The shadow does not disappear. It integrates when it is seen, named, and governed. Expect turbulence. The world is accustomed to your free labor, emotional, linguistic, logistical. When that subsidy ends, invoices arrive as blame. You're different. You're cold. You used to be so easy. Translate those statements correctly. My handles don't work anymore. Some relationships will adapt. Some will end. Do not confuse subtraction with failure. Pruning is not punishment. It is cultivation. Individuation reduces audience size and increases room to breathe. Track the returns like an accountant of attention. Meetings shorten and sharpen. Projects clarify. You catch manipulation earlier because you no longer drown in your own speech. You begin to believe that being misread is survivable. You recognize that approval is useful but not food. The voice that once pleaded for a kinder witness quiets as you become one. Authority, which you tried to purchase with paragraphs, returns when you stop renting out your crown. Your story does not need a narrator in every scene. Some meanings ripen in silence, Some respect arrives when you refuse to beg for it. The child in you will stare at the closed microphone and panic. Hold his hand and let the air be air. He doesn't need to sing for supper. You will feed him with structure. You are not trying to win arguments. You are building a state. Let the rules carry you when feelings thrash. Let the pause be your moat, the sentence your standard, the cooled decision your law. You will still explain when it serves, still apologize when wrong, still speak with warmth when love calls. But you will do it from the throne, not the hallway. One sentence to define, one sentence to decide. Power watches your posture in silence before it hears your story. You chase understanding because quiet feels like judgment. To look reasonable, you pour context into the room until the floor is slick. The more you explain, the more you confess that the verdict rules you. In statecraft and love alike, the first to panic pays. Speech can buy clarity, but it often sells authority. The optics of panic are unmistakable. Dots appear on a screen, and your pulse tries to outrun them. You send a careful text, then a softer follow-up, then a voice note because tone is hard to read, then a midnight essay to clarify. You call, hang up at the first ring, then call again to clear the air. In meetings, a gentle prompt, "Where are we on this?" turns your update into a confession. Disclaimers multiply. You pre-apologize for intentions no one questioned. Your breath lives in the microphone. Your sentences arrive already leaning. Picture it. The phone glows like an alarm you cannot disarm. The typing bubble swells and collapses. You try to read weather in foam. You draft an apology for a misunderstanding not yet alleged, offer concessions nobody asked for, and spend private facts you can never reuse. Every extra sentence is a discount tag. Desperation is bright. Opportunists hunt by light. The disciplined set one clean line and let silence do arithmetic. You, fearing misinterpretation, hand your map to the other side. You explain motives, calendar gaps, and childhood debris. You try to exhaust doubt by exhausting yourself. The room doesn't hear innocence, it hears instability. Replaceability has an audio profile. Fast, thin, breathy, too many justifications per minute. The market does not hate you, it simply marks down volatility. Then, the narrative capture. You front-load context to help them see you. They use it to build the story that serves them. The other party names the issue while you bleed detail, reliability, fit, some tidy word. Now, every answer must climb out of their label. You correct a corner and expose a wall. You argue intent while they cite effect. You are answering their script, not your facts. That is how context becomes a cage you built. Dating shows it in high resolution. After a strong weekend, she goes. Cool, slower texts, shorter replies, a busy week that turns seasonal. You respond with essays about honesty. Without noticing, you accept her premise that connection needs your affidavit. She says, "It's a bit much." You try to fix muchness by offering less of you, faster. The frame is hers. You become counsel for the defense. Business is not kinder. A client says, "Before we renew, we need to understand deliverables." You dump process, hours, and costs, hoping transparency feels like trust. They thank you and use your detail to press the price down. The disciplined move is 4 lines. Outcomes achieved, the metric that mattered, the next outcomes, and the price that keeps them stable. Talk like a policy to be treated like one. Information should narrow the target to the shot you want to take. Panic multiplies targets until any arrow can be called a miss. You think you are humanizing yourself. You are furnishing the interrogation room. They hang your words on the wall and call it evidence. The Machiavellian rule is plain. Information is a resource, not a reflex. Trade it when it buys leverage. Do not spill it to buy relief. Now the collateral damage. Reputation reprices by signal, not essence. People are busy. They will not audit your soul. They watch whether you can hold the first calm line. If you cannot, they conclude often kindly that you are costly under pressure. Colleagues root responsibility around you. Friends hesitate to loop you into plans that require patience. In the attention economy, attention is credit. Panic spends it fast and leaves debt. Boundaries blur next. Because you fear losing access, you answer at hours you once protected. You accept terms you would have rejected last month. You apologize for needs you have the right to hold. The line between generosity and self-erasure dissolves. You start to believe respect is purchased with rapid accommodation, and you are surprised when accommodation devalues respect. You trained others to expect flexibility where you should have trained them to expect standards. Then, self-trust erodes. You second-guess the obvious. Every silence becomes a verdict. You poll friends about messages that do not deserve a quorum. Your inner council fragments into a dozen voices, none able to steer. Confidence is memory, promises made and kept. The more you sell your boundaries to purchase calm, the less memory you own. You feel hollow because you return the spine for store credit. The correction is strategic and small. First, pre-write the first calm line. One sentence that states your position without heat. Memorize it and, under pressure, deliver it once, then stop. Second, ration disclosure. If a fact does not protect trust or advance outcome, it can wait. Third, use pace as policy. Match tempo. Do not chase it. Your response window communicates even when you send nothing. Fourth, redirect energy into action that moves the board while you stay quiet. Practice when the stakes are low. When someone texts, "We need to talk," answer after your pulse slows. Sure, what time works? When a manager asks for background, give the outcome and the next step. Save autobiography for friends who ask to hear it. When a partner goes cool, treat distance as information, not a siren. Either warmth returns at a healthy price, or you learn the price. Both are wins if you keep your law. You are not required to be cold, you are required to be governed. Warmth under rule is irresistible. Warmth without rule is charity. Let your voice prove that a mind is driving. Say less, mean more, move slower, decide harder. You will be accused of being strategic. Accept the charge. Strategy is how compassion survives contact with the world. Hold the first calm line, and the room must move or leave. Both outcomes serve you. If they move, respect grows. If they leave, space opens for deals that honor your law. Either way, you stop auditioning for a part you already own, the author of your frame. Speak when speech buys ground. Be silent when silence names the price. Let them wonder, then let results answer. Keep your line, keep your throne. It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Niccolò Machiavelli. You have tried to be understood. You wrote long messages, opened old wounds, pleaded for context, and nothing changed except your energy. Authority does not speak in diary entries, it speaks in design. Terms carry weight where feelings evaporate. When structure appears, confusion stops breeding. Define the offer. Your offer is competence. You solve problems without turning the room into a siren. Your offer is reliability. You keep your word when no one is clapping. Your offer is pace. You move at mission speed and refuse to idle in someone else's confusion. Your offer is warm presence inside a frame, real affection, but delivered on rhythm, not on demand. You are not a vending machine for reassurance. Your hours, focus and patience are not open-ended. Say it clean, name what you bring and what it costs to lose it. Clarity is not cruelty, it is orientation. People who want to meet you will thank you for the map. People who wanted a boundaryless you will call it cold, because bright lines turn loopholes into walls. Keep the lines. Love overheats when there is no container. It was never love, it was access. Now replace the word fair with terms. Fairness is a story everyone edits to their benefit. Terms are architecture anybody can see. If X, then Y. If Y fails, distance. No courtroom speeches, no moral theater. Boundaries define the room. Cadence sets the tempo. Access rules keep the door from being ripped off its hinges. Consequences are the price list on the wall. You are not threatening, you are pricing. When the price of waste rises, respect suddenly appears. In dating, terms sound like this. If we schedule, we confirm by noon. If cancellation repeats, future options move to my daytime window only. If argument slips into insults, we pause for 72 hours and continue after sleep and daylight. If replies stretch for days, I shift to asynchronous updates. Urgent matters require a call. This is not ice, it is a thermostat. Warmth holds because the temperature is managed. Chaos is not passion, it is corrosion. In friendship, terms protect rhythm. If you need to reschedule, tell me the day before. If it's last minute more than once, we plan a week out, not hours. If you borrow money, we agree to dates. Missed dates switch future help to non-financial. In family terms, protect dignity. If voices rise, I end the call. We try again tomorrow. You don't have to shout. You just have to follow the design you announced. Systems enforce themselves when you step aside. Remember, if X, then Y. If Y fails, distance. Distance is not revenge. Distance is governance. It gives time for reality to teach what your lectures never will. People learn rooms by hitting walls. The more predictable the walls, the fewer collisions. Your predictability becomes the lesson. Forecast, don't beg. Begging is advertising to people who already know the price and won't pay it. Forecasting is policy. State outcomes and timelines once, then let silence carry the cost. If this pattern holds for 2 weeks, I reduce frequency. If these standards are kept for 30 days, we plan a trip. If disrespect returns, we pause for a month. Say it once, steadily, and go quiet. Silence is the courthouse where their choices echo. Without your noise, they hear themselves. Silence also protects your frame. When you stop over-explaining, the other person must produce their own clarity or fall into the gap. Avoidance becomes expensive because the clock keeps moving while access shrinks. You are not cruel. You are costly to neglect. That cost is not a punishment. It is the natural price of wasting scarce attention. Modern life rewards this design. In work, tie milestones to payments and approvals. Deposit by Friday, draft on Monday. No deposit, the window moves. Hold file ownership until completion. Invoice on the date, not on the vibe. In dating, schedule when rested, leave on time, and keep your mission pace. In friendships, host with an end time and clear rules around space, money, and last-minute emergencies. Practice small rituals until they become reflex. You will be accused of being transactional. Smile. Every living system is transactional. Oxygen for breath, effort for growth, promises for trust. Transactions become dehumanizing only when they are hidden and manipulated. Put the ledger on the table. That honesty is humane. It turns resentment into choice and fantasy into math. Kill the need to be understood. Understanding is a luxury. Governance is a necessity. The person who must understand you before they respect you will never run out of questions. The person who respects your terms will understand you as a byproduct of consistency. Authority lives in what you repeatedly enforce. Speak less, design more. Miscommunication dies quickly when your reality has a price list. Define the offer. Replace fair with terms. Forecast once, then let silence work. When the frame is steady, love stops leaking and loyalty stops wobbling. People who value you adapt to the architecture. People who merely valued access move on to a softer house. Either way, you become free. Less talk, more terms. Silence collects the debt. Men judge more by the eye than by the hand, because everyone can see but few can feel. Non-explanation is not rudeness, it is architecture. You are building a frame that others must enter if they want access to you. Machiavellian virtue is the discipline to show little, speak last, and enforce once. You are not hiding, you are governing. You decide what becomes public and what remains sovereign. Explanation invites debate. Brevity defines terrain. When you master the blade of one clear sentence, you stop auditioning for approval and start training outcomes. Begin with the 3 levers: position, pace, punishment. Position makes brevity true. Alternatives give silence weight. Savings let you refuse a bad timetable. Skills reduce your dependence on applause. A real network opens doors that don't require pleading. When you have options, explanations shrink because you no longer trade words for permission. You can walk away. Your tone softens because you are not negotiating your worth. You are choosing clients, allies, and terms. Without position, brevity sounds like arrogance and collapses under pushback. Pace is your throttle. Speak last, decide once, and keep decisions in calm daylight. When chaos surges, you slow your breathing, measure your sentences, and protect the forum. You will answer after the dust settles. At work, let the meeting exhaust itself. Then summarize in one line that cuts the noise. We are choosing certainty or speed. In life, refuse midnight theater. Move problems to coffee. A single timely sentence moves more than 1,000 frantic words. Punishment is non-explanation in motion. Broken terms do not trigger sermons, they trigger logistics. You implement distance quietly, rescope, pause, revoke, replace. A client violates payment windows. You stop delivery and send the amendment. A partner breaks boundaries. Access narrows without insult. Friends who gamble with your time learn that your calendar is not an open market. The punishment is predictable, proportionate, and explained in advance, so when it arrives, nothing is left to argue. Choreography turns intent into habit. Use the 2-breath pause before you answer. Inhale, exhale. Repeat so adrenaline does not type for you. Write, then wait. Draft the message, stand, and read again with a colder eye. If it still needs saying, cut it to 1 sentence and 1 question. Scope or deadline, discount or reliability, private talk or no talk. Do not text mid-storm. Storms love screens. Move decisions to in-person daylight hours with chairs, pens, and clocks. Sit evenly, hands still. Let silence do first contact. At work, this choreography reframes you from helpful explainer to steady operator. You finish tasks before replying to bait. You stop narrating your effort and start presenting results. A manager pings at 10 p.m. You reply at 9 with the document and 1 question about next steps. Your scarcity becomes visible because outputs, not explanations, carry the weight. Colleagues who live on commentary are forced into your tempo or left outside it. In relationships, non-explanation protects affection. When accusations fly at midnight, you do not sprint into the court of text. You answer the next day with warmth and a boundary. Happy to talk at 6. 1 topic, 20 minutes. If the terms break, distance happens, less access, fewer channels, slower replies. You are not punishing a person, You are protecting the conditions where love can be honest. Brevity drains the theater from conflict. What remains is truth you can act on. In family, brevity stops triangulation. Gossip seeks long defenses. You refuse the bait. We'll discuss Sunday, just us. If they insist on group criticism, you withdraw. Not the forum. The conversation either matures or expires. You didn't win with a speech, you won with a doorway. People learn that access travels through clear terms, not through chaos. Fortuna luck still tilts the board. You manage it with contingencies, exit ramps, and timing moves. Build buffers of cash and time so your quiet is sustainable. Cross-train, cultivate parallel opportunities, and keep relationships warm outside crises. Announce terms when leverage peaks right after delivery, right before renewal, right when your alternative is live. Wait into silence in negotiation. Let the other side reveal their constraint. Then strike with the one sentence that names the trade. Concrete scenes make the pattern obvious. In a sales call, they push for a discount, today only. You breathe, note the hostage clock, and answer, "We can do 10% with a 12-month term. Which do you prefer, price today or reliability for the year?" Then you stop talking. The silence delivers your frame. They either choose or they expose that urgency was theater. Either outcome pays you, clarity or exit. In a project stand-up, requests are sprawling. You let the noise crest, then say, "We lock scope Tuesday," or "We lock deadline Friday." You write it on the board, cap the pen, and wait. No lecture on capacity, no diary of weekends sacrificed. One blade, one cut, one decision. In a romantic conflict, you're accused of being distant. Old you would pour paragraphs, promising availability you cannot sustain. New you says, "I keep early mornings for training. Evenings after 8 are for us. Do you want Wednesday or Saturday?" It is short because it is true. If they cannot accept the terms, you part without cruelty, but you do part. Logistics again, not morality theater. The shadow you are meeting is the urge to over-explain as a way to be liked. It thinks words buy safety. They don't. Terms buy safety. Systems buy peace. When you cut exposition, you feel naked at first. Then you feel clean. Your self-respect stops bleeding through the holes in long justifications. People treat you according to the space your boundaries occupy. When your sentences shrink, your edges appear. Practice weekly. Add one alternative new skill, new savings target, a relationship with someone who plays on a higher field. Script, one sentence per recurring issue, and memorize it. Choose a forum and protect it. Daylight, in person, one topic. Pick one consequence you will actually execute and execute it the next time terms break. Keep score in outcomes, not applause. Your goal is not to be understood by everyone. Your goal is to be consistent with yourself. Non-explanation is not silence for its own sake. It is the economy of force. You spend your words where they move reality and save them where they only feed chaos. Men judge by the eye, let them see results. Few feel by the hand, let those who do hold the proof. Speak when speaking decides. Enforce when enforcing ends the loop. And when the work is done, leave the room. One sentence, one decision, one clean exit. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. You stop begging life to be gentle when you learn to govern the weather inside you. The storm was never just outside. It was the unspoken fear, the hungry ego, the abandoned child banging on the hull. You name them, seat them, and set terms. Standards become the keel. Restraint becomes the rudder. Peace is not a favor from the world. Peace is architecture you build from the inside out, plank by plank, rule by rule, breath by measured breath. Quiet sovereignty looks ordinary to strangers and life-saving to you. You script the first hour and defend it like a border. Breath, movement, one hard task, one honest review. Phone asleep until the work has a pulse. You speak less, and when you do, you choose clean lines, yes or no, not the swamp of maybe. Fewer arguments follow because you stop auditioning for approval. Faster decisions follow because values pre-decide the path. And warmth grows inside boundaries. The dinner you end on time, the friend you meet without resentment because you protected the afternoon, the affection that deepens when your no is reliable and your yes is earned. Restraint heals time. You batch replies instead of bleeding minutes between tasks. You turn off alerts that treat your nervous system like a public square. Before answering, you ask one quiet question. Is this serving the work or feeding the shadow that wants to be seen? On Monday, you decline a meeting with no agenda and send 3 crisp bullet points. On Wednesday, you protect a deep work block and ship a draft that used to drown in threads. On Thursday, you turn the phone face down at dinner and give your eyes to the person you chose. By Friday, there is something finished on the shelf, and your evening is soft because your attention is not leaking through 100 open loops. As rhythm settles, allies of outcomes rise toward you. Order is a beacon that needs no speech. The ones who love smoke drift away because there is nothing here to burn. Builders arrive with tools, not drama. They keep start times and end times. They answer with deliverables, not stories. Your circle narrows and your energy multiplies. Projects land. Apologies shrink. You stop explaining your boundaries and let your calendar explain them for you. We'll see becomes dates, roles, and definitions of done. Quality over quantity stops being a slogan and becomes the gate that protects your days and your nerves. Allies bring a different heat, steady, generous, exact. The training partner who logs sets instead of gossip doubles your progress in a month. The colleague who ships on time becomes a quiet engine pulling the team. In love, trust expands as check-ins shrink because predictability becomes affection's soil. You can be generous without feeling used and available without being owned. Respect turns into the default temperature because the terms are visible and kept. Peace is not the absence of intensity, it is intensity carried on rails. The right people prefer that kind of speed. And the sea remains a sea. Skies change without warning. A client moves a deadline. A parent needs help now. Old voices rise and want you loud and frantic again. But the helm answers your hands. You breathe once and hear the crew within the anxious child, the proud performer, the judge who loves control. You let them speak without surrendering the wheel. You read weather instead of cursing it. You reef early. You tack with timing, not panic. Small, honest moves replace grand emotional speeches. Close the extra tab, send the outline. Ask for the decision in one sentence. Return to the compass task. The water does not obey you, but the ship does. Storms will come. That is their job. Yours is different. Build the keel, hold the rhythm, choose the crew. When standards and restraint govern the inner waters, the outer waves lose their power to own you. Hope stops being a wish thrown at the sky and becomes a practice carried in your hands. Tomorrow's sea will not promise you calm. It will offer you wind. You will use it. Fewer words, firm terms, steady course.